Okay, I think we should get a start, and anyone who comes in can just join in as we go along. So, welcome everyone to our first Union Council meeting. My name is Ben. I am the Student Council Chair for the Student Union. I was the chair for last year as well, so it's a pleasure and an honour to be here again. So, as we'll just jump straight into it, I think what we should do is just a little bit of a round robin just to introduce everyone. So if the sabbaticals would like to introduce themselves, and then we'll work our way around.
I'll go first. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Dan. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the union president at the Students' Union.
Excellent.
I don't mind going next. Hi, I'm Maddie, pronouns she, her, and I'm the sabbatical officer of engagement and sport.
Hi, I'm Frankie. I'm hoping the camera moves around onto me at some point. Pronouns she, her, and I'm the president of community, diversity and inclusion.
And hi everyone, I'm Beth, pronouns she, her, and I'm the president of campaigns and societies.
Hi, I'm Yvette, part-time officer, Union Council.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Anushree. I am a postgraduate taught officer.
Hi, I'm Hannah. She, her pronouns, and I'm the faculty rep for health and social care.
Hi, I'm Alice. I'm the disabled student rep. Hi, officer. Sorry, not rep. Wrong one. Yeah, she, her. Bye.
Sorry, I didn't know when to jump in then. I'm Amy, and I'm the postgraduate research student officer. Nice to meet everyone.
Hi, I'm Oliveira, pronouns she, her, and I'm the LGBT Women's Place officer.
Jazz says hi in the chat.
Hi folks, I'm the faculty rep for art, humanities and education, pronouns he and him, and it's nice to be here.
Very good to have you. Right, who hasn't said hello yet?
I'm Matt, pronouns they, them, and I'm environmental officer.
Nice to have you, Max. Excellent. And we've got a couple of other people who are here as well, who are hoping to be co-opted, I believe. I am going to butcher your name, I'm afraid. Famuzel?
Yes, that's me. It's Pumzale.
Pumzale.
Yeah. Pronouns she, her. Hoping to run for the BAME Students Officer. Hope that's okay.
Fantastic. And Emmanuel? Is Emmanuel here? I don't think Emmanuel's here. Okay. Temi? Yvette? Yvette's here, I can see her. Hi there. And Esther?
Hi, I'm Esther, pronoun she, her. Sitting in for, international student officer overseas. So hoping to be co-opted.
Fantastic. Is there anyone I've missed off the list? Anastasia, I think we accidentally skipped you there. Would you like to say hello?
I think she wrote it in the chat.
That's fine. Okay, so we'll go straight on to co-opting the positions. So the first one to go on to is the BAME Students Officer. From my understanding is that we would like this to be a joint position, so you both have an active voice, but you only carry one vote. Would you like to just explain what you'd like to do in this role, what your aspirations are, and what you're hoping to achieve for the year?
Yes, is that yeah. I just hope to just kind of make a difference and be able to be the voice for people within Canterbury to be able to express themselves and feel that they're heard. Currently, I am an OT student, so as an OT, we already talk about enhancing people's everyday lifestyles and helping them to engage in meaningful occupations for them. And for me, university is a meaning occupation already. So for us, I want to make sure that people are being heard and feel that they're comfortable within the university and being within societies as well. So then if they feel they can't come to their lecturers, they can come to me and us as a union to be able to discuss issues they want to address and be able to feel that they're being heard and seen.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Beth, Maddie, Dan, if you wouldn't mind helping with this one, how do we co-opt in the council?
Chris? Is Chris still there?
I sent out the sort of initial terms regarding sort of the bylaws and such, so section 21 or 22. And basically what it is rather than having to run elections or by-elections and such, the Union Council has the power to co-opt into a position. So it's up to the Union Council to decide if they want to co-opt or if they would like to go ahead and do an election.
Okay, I open that question up to all the elected officers. Is there any disagreement in regards to doing it, or do we have an unanimous decision? I am going to take that as unanimous. So, welcome to the BAME student officer position.
Thank you very much.
So terms done. Yvette, would you like to say some words in regards to why you want to be part-time students officer?
Similar to, in fact, the same as I repeat what Famula has said in terms of connecting part-time students, being a voice for them if they feel like they can't go to the tutor, maybe be an intermediary there, but also connect them, which is one of the aims and objectives of the Canterbury Christchurch University anyway. I'm a distance learning student most of the time. I'm on campus probably once a month, once every 2 months, something like that. So it's ideal because I know what a lot of part-time students will be distance learning as well. And they need somebody to connect to.
Fantastic, thank you. And I think it links in very nicely to Canterbury's method of trying to research into blended learning as well, because that's all about being able to communicate from a distance. So I think that will link really nicely into some of the stuff you can do. So again, question for everyone. Are we all happy to co-opt into the part-time students officer role?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone disagrees? I see that as unanimous, so welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here.
Excellent. And Esther, would you like to have a few words, please?
Yeah, thank you for having me here, first of all, and to build on what Yvette and Femizel said, along with, making the international students feel welcome and less stressed, I think one small aspect goes very unnoticed is the mental health of a lot of international students, because they're so far away from home, and it tends to be a close-knit group, as they feel. I've personally been in touch with a lot of international students who aren't doing too good mentally. So my aim, my hope is that we can kind of help them through this and let it not affect them as much, give them the support and do as much as we can for them in general, basically, like to put it in very simple words. So yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic. And actually, mental health is something that's really popped over the last couple of years, particularly with the pandemic, people being isolated, quarantined. I know the student union has done immeasurable amounts of fantastic work to ensure people are well looked after, both physically and mentally. So again, I open up the question to everyone. Are we happy to co-opt into the International Students Overseas Officer role?
Yes.
Seeing a lot of Mohammed. And has anyone disagreed?
No.
Fantastic. Then
Even
I
I'm
think
an
that's
international student and I could relate what she's telling is right because I know, because I'm also an international student, I'm feeling the same on reaching here. It's much relatable.
fantastic. So I see that as unanimous. So welcome to the role.
Thank you.
Excellent. So I think that's all the co-opt positions that we can do today. Chris, could I just check what roles are currently unseated at the moment?
Yep, just grabbing that information now for you.
Thank you very much.
So it's the role of Black Students Officer, International Students Officer EU, Midway Students Officer, and Tunbridge Wells Students Officer.
Excellent. Could I possibly ask the sabbaticals? Obviously, keep your ears out for anyone who would be interested. As advertised, I want to make sure that the council is fully representative of all aspects of the Christchurch. Let's try and get those seats filled as quickly as possible. Chris, was that a hand up?
Apologies there, just system check.
No worries there. Okay, so I'm going to move straight on to the next item. So this is the NHS Learning Support Fund. So I'll quickly go over what I've written because this is one of my ones. So at the moment, the NHS LSF funding, which is for healthcare students, has recently been expanded over the last 2 years to include not only just nursing and doctors, but now also includes all allied healthcare professions as well. So paramedics, radiographers, physiotherapists, and everything in between. One of the things that has come up from this funding, though, is that it discriminates kind of against certain people. So those who are not eligible for student finance normally wouldn't be able to receive this funding. Essentially, someone who has 1p of student funding from student loans, for example, would be £15,000 better off compared to someone who doesn't get any student funding or is self-funding for whatever reason. So my question is, can we open up a dialogue in campaign in regards to this to challenge this inequality, to have a fairer system, to allow all students, particularly in healthcare, who are able to have this funding? Thank you. So, does anyone have any comments to start off on this?
Yes, I am a nursing student and I'm not eligible for the NHS fund either. I do get student finance, but the reason I'm not eligible is because they're classing me as a repeat year.
So you're having to, so you're doing one of the years already, and you don't get money for the.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult. So I interrupted, and then when I came back, they discarded my year 2 book and gave me a brand new one at the start of year 3. So I didn't get to do my year 3 hours. If that makes any sense to anyone?
So, were you repeating because of forces outside of your control?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I was repeating the year because I didn't really get the chance to do it in the first place because obviously I came back, then they gave me a brand new book, a year 2 book at the start of year 3. So my year 3 one didn't get done because of that. So I've now got to do a whole year of placement of year 3.
And you're
So
having
I'm not eligible.
and you're having to do this without the additional funds that come with it.
Yes. So I'm not getting my travel money back for placement travel either.
So that's a very good point. Travel expenses, accommodation expenses, parking expenses that you accumulate during placement. If you're not receiving LSF funding, all those expenses are typically done through that now. It used to be the case that university would give you a sum of money to be able to afford this. Again, this disadvantages students who are either having to take an alternative pathway rather than 1, 2, 3 for whatever reason, sometimes out of their control as well. Would anyone else like to chip in? Either put your hand up or just start talking.
Yeah, I would. So I'm for Muzile, we're both OT students and we qualify for this bursary. I've actually had 2 of our peers in 3rd year bring this up recently. So I'm glad you've brought it up because one of our peers is from Ireland and she's self-funded. So she doesn't qualify for any of the funding. And she was saying that it is difficult. And kind of reiterating what you just said about travel expenses particularly. So with our placements, we can be sent up to an hour and a half away for placements. And if we don't drive, that can mean that we can be sent as far as London. In my first year, for example, I was sent to Maidstone, which without a rail card is £20 return a day. Even with a rail card, it's I think £14 a day, which is very expensive. So I definitely agree with you about and fully support campaigning for this, and I think everybody on healthcare courses will be on board with this. I think the other issue with the Learning Support Fund in terms of the university that we've had issues with is when you do claim the money back, it can be a very long process because you do have to pay for it yourself and then wait for the money, and especially when we're all on placement at the same times along with nursing students, and there's lots of overlap across our year groups. It can sometimes take weeks, if not months, for you to get your money back, which when you're spending, some of our peers have spent £500-600 traveling on placements before. So yeah, I think it's a very important issue and it can have a really detrimental effect on people.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I quite agree. So just from my own travel, I've looked at it. I do about 70-mile-an-hour round journey to go to placement. Over a 6-week block, that adds up to 1,680 miles. It's quite a lot. So yeah, the students are paying about £300 to £500 for the privilege of progressing through their course, and it's not something it's mandatory. They have to do it. If you don't do your placement, you don't progress to the next year. So there's definitely a question there where it needs to be done. In terms of the speed of which it's been processed through as well, I'm wondering if that could be investigated. We can look into how long it is taking for applications to go in for a student to receive their money back. Alice, you've got your hand up.
I have got a question. A while ago, I was really quite in touch with the. Sorry, my screen's telling me something, so let's listen to the screen. Sorry. I was really in touch with the careers team. I don't know if this was the same thing because it has to be done for your course, but there's the work experience fund. I don't know if that covers placement. Probably doesn't, but I thought in my head that was a thought of, is that a way around it for students that can't access the fund? I'm not sure. I could be being very straightforward in my brain, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the information out there is kind of convoluted and it's not quite streamlined. I think maybe even a step-by-step guide would be really handy. So I know I've skipped over on the SAB updates, and I'll go straight back to those after this. So I think we just have a quick vote. I feel we've got fairly unanimous on this. Arise, would you like to have a word first? You've got your hand up.
Hello, I have something to say, but it's not completely related to this, but a different aspect of this. The thing is, I'm an international student. I have already paid all my fees from my place itself, but they promised a refund of 3-4% return as well as soon as I enroll here, and it will within 2 weeks they will give the fund to my account. But to be honest, we didn't got anything yet. Not only me, I already knew of a few of my friends who are international students having the same issue. We have already, even when I collected me most of the people and went to ISON and some other student cells, but the extent they given the extra information is very small, and they given few email IDs where we could send the problem, but to be frank, they have never replied. It's not a fair approach. I think that's what I want to tell to the student union as a official declaration, because it's not good. I have already been 2 months here already, and we didn't got money or we didn't get any replies over the email. It's not fair, and I wish as a postgraduate thought officer, I know most of my friends are telling the same problem with me, and I have nothing to tell about them because I already been to many places, but no answers are. Everyone is saying finance department is not working in Canterbury section, so I don't know. I think this is a severe issue because it's already a Jan intake is going to start, and now September intake students are still being awaited for their the finance by money to be refunded. That's what I was going to tell.
So what I'm hearing is there's there's a slow process and there's a lack of communication around it. Okay. Hannah, you had your hand up? No, hand's gone.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh, sorry, my phone's a bit messed up. What was I saying? In relation to what Alice said, I've actually tried to get the work experience fund. They won't fund it if it's for placement, but it sounds a bit weird, but they were going to fund my elective placement, and then COVID happened and the elective didn't happen. But that's because I was going to go abroad to the Philippines. But I have tried, because I'm not getting the NHS fund, I've tried to go through the work experience fund just to get some sort of money, but it's not classed as that sort of support for some reason. But yeah, there's a lack of communication around it. There's not much information, so you wouldn't know what's for what.
Again, it's that lack of information, that lack of clarity,
yeah,
seems to be the common theme we're getting here. So I think we've had a really good discussion about this. I seem to be hearing the same message everywhere. The system needs to be streamlined in terms of funding. What's been clarified in terms of what people are eligible for, and seems to be a lack of communication that needs to be improved upon in regards to this. The process seems to be long as well, and I'm wondering whether this can be streamlined by the university to make sure that students aren't left out of pocket for long periods of time. If everyone is happy, we'll have a quick old vote on this to see if the council is happy for this to go forward, either by nodding, waving, approving, or otherwise. If I could have a quick thumbs up from everyone.
Yeah, I'm good with this.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Chris, please make you mute because I can hear you typing like a warrior.
Excellent. Is there any other disagreements or comments to be made?
To say, Ben, that we We reached out to other SUs through NUS Connect on this issue of the NHS Learning Sport Fund, and none have got back to us yet. And we're also raising this at the Vice Chancellor's Q&A on Monday. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say on it as well. Just thought I'd let you know.
Definitely fantastic. That'd be good to hear back about that. I know NHS funding is probably quite swamped at the moment because this is an application period. Fantastic. So I see that as unanimous voting forward. Now, I kind of accidentally skipped over this, so I would be happy to if the SABs could give us an update on everything, and I do apologise. I didn't. Whoever would like to go first?
Would you like me to go first? I've got to scoot off at 4.
Perfect.
Thank you. So firstly, I just wanted to say lovely to meet you all. I can't actually see you all, but hopefully I'll get to know you throughout the year. And hopefully we can work on lots of good things together. Hi. So what have I been doing this year? I'll just give you a kind of brief snapshot if that's okay. If you do have any questions, then please do let me know. I love questions. At the beginning of the year, we've seen sports teams get back training and playing after COVID. This has been quite challenging to get them back up and going, especially because the last 2 years they haven't seen how normal years have worked. So I've had to do a lot of like spoon feeding in a nice way, support with students on that, just like simple things about how to actually run games and like the admin that goes behind team play on a Wednesday. Small things like facilities and improving the Stodmarsh facilities. We had them all repainted at the beginning of the year. Got the mould mould gone in the Stodmarsh, which is always a nice bonus. Final whistle, which are Wednesday equivalent of the Tuesday society takeover, which I know some of you go to. Well underway with different teams hosting each week. I've also, with Dan, been hosting and running quiz each Sunday, which has been really nice to see both sports and socks and then just general students coming along to that. It's been a really nice event on a Sunday evening. The new membership model is now fully underway. I think I spoke to some of you in Union Council about it last year and the problems we were having around that. It seems to be, after a few teething issues, now going well. I've been working very closely with Christchurch Sport on that, so that's been good. Again, working very closely with Christchurch Sport to deliver the best we can for students, looking at inclusivity within sport and different areas that we can improve, such as facilities and bits. Campaigns, obviously we've run some union campaigns, but the ones I've worked on myself have been This Girl Can, and also I've done a lot of work around Movember this month, last day today. Sports and mental health, this has been a lot of my time so far this year. I've sadly seen a massive rise in mental health issues within sports teams, specifically men's teams, which is really sad. So I've been doing a lot of signposting and supporting work with them. And obviously the Movember campaign has really helped with that. And it has been good, I must say, to see so many socks involved with that, not just sports teams. So thank you for that. Union tour is all set up and we have some exciting themes for this year. So hopefully I'll see you all on campus at some point for that. Going back to the wellbeing stuff, sorry, I've skipped one. I actually set up a Thursday morning wellbeing session for these particular individuals that were affected, because I was getting a lot of people come up to in a Wednesday night out, and so Thursday is it's called Cool Down Thursday now. So we could try and encourage those people to come. The reason that we changed it away, we pulled it away from maybe the normal Tuesday chill, was because we found that where it was labelled more of a mental health thing, we weren't getting people come along. Whereas now, naming it more of a sporty thing, I've managed to get actually a few more male teams come along to that, which is nice, trying to break down the stigma. Organising events such as Varsity and Sports Ed, I'm very pleased to say we're actually 3 months ahead of schedule on organising compared to normal years. So I'm very pleased about that, even though we've had to have a change in venue for Sports Ed, haven't announced it yet, due to the number of people that come. We normally have about 600 students, so the normal venue that we have couldn't take us, so we've had to change venue for that. Sorry, I know I'm waffling quite a bit. I'm very chatty. Just a few more things. I've attended like just general union events and community events. It's been really, really good to see so many faces back on campus and just being out there, I guess, again. Hopefully it stays that way. But yeah, it is lovely to see so many people back, and I'm very happy with the progress so far, and hopefully it stays like that and COVID doesn't poo it up again. But thank you, and let me know if you have any questions, and I'd love to work with you all this year. Yeah, I think I'll stop rambling now.
Thank you very much, Maddie. Did anyone have any questions for Maddie at all?
Please ask me questions. I do like questions.
She does. She
no
loves
one's
them.
going to ask me anything. I know it.
I'll ask you a question.
Oh, thank you.
Have you been doing much work in terms of Medway Pacific societies?
Yes. Well, not as much as I should be, I'm going to be honest now. But I've had a few kind of students message me about actually setting up sports teams at the Medway campus. So we've been working with GK unions and the sports partnership thing there to try and signpost them into sports groups there. So that's going well. I think we've got volleyball and, I don't want to say the wrong words now, badminton. I think they're the two that so far I've signposted into that kind of community thing. But if you do have any suggestions about what I can do up there in terms of sport and general engagement, then let me know. I know Beth's been doing more work around the actual society side of things there, so yeah.
That's a nice little segue into Beth's update, I think.
Thank you. Does no one else have any questions? I'm quite sad. Okay, there's one.
Jade has a question.
Oh, is it working? I was talking to some people on a society the other day, and they were interested in kind of doing a week where a society teams up with a sports team. So kind of say, I don't know, volleyball go with Uniboob one day, like, and have a week together. So we go to the sports stuff, they come to Tuesday Takeover, we go and do like their sports event, and they come and do something with us. Kind of like a week where we work together as a team, and maybe do it for some kind of charity or something. But I thought it was a really good idea where you team up like a sports team and a society, like pick it up random out of a hat and see what you could do together, kind of bringing them into the society side, but them also introducing societies into more sport.
Perfect. No, I'd love that, and I always encourage that. I actually nearly had a happy tear the other day when LGBT you went with trampolining, I want to say. So yeah, just like things like that I do love to hear, and I'm happy to help kind of organise them, definitely. But yeah, I'd love more events like that. And also I saw a comment there about please invite us to Final Whistle. Take this from me now, everyone's always invited to Final Whistle. It's not exclusive to sports teams. Please do just drop in if you want to come. But yeah, thanks everyone.
I think Alice has a question for you as well.
Ooh,
I'm not sure if it's a question, but it could potentially be a suggestion for next year. Yeah. I know we're really, really early for next year freshers things, but for disabled students that have physical disabilities, the thought of signing over £70 to a society that, a sports team that you're not sure you could fully potentially engage with, is there potential to be like have one or two sessions that you go to and see if it works for you? I don't know if that's already a thing.
Yeah, it is already a thing, Alice. You have 3 trial sessions before you have to pay your membership within sports, because the 3 is like what we're insured up to, and then after that you still have to start paying. But yeah, you can even do it by direct debit as well after those 3 sessions. And where it is quite a large chunk compared to society's money, you can pay by direct debit.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know if it was a thing. Nice to hear that it is.
That's okay. Thanks everyone. I'll pass over to Beth. If you do have any questions though, please do drop me a message. Thanks.
Hey everyone, please do let me know if it cuts out volume wise or you can't see me. We're using a little device in the office called an owl, and it's very temperamental, so please let me know. So yeah, this last, what are we on, November, blimey, 3 months since term started has been mental, I think, for all of us SABs. And first of all, I want to say a lot of you I know on this call, and some of you I don't know, thank you for all your support, because a lot of this I've had a lot of support with students from, so it's really exciting, really great stuff. So thank you if you've been involved with that. And if you haven't been, always looking to have students involved with what we do, so let us know. So societies, so far, it's been really good for SOCs. The end of last year, those who may have been involved with societies or on Union Council last year, there was a lot of worry around how many societies we lost during COVID. But we've taken society up to 40 societies, with more societies already in their approval process. So pretty much almost doubled community back up, which is really, really great to see. This year, I did all my one-to-ones again, and we also made changes to the society constitutions so that it made it easier for societies to start up, get off the ground, which was really positive, which meant a lot of them did survive. So that was really good. Society takeovers are back, which continues to be really successful, lots of money raised, lots of attendance, which is really, really great to see. So if anyone ever wants to come, it's open to all students every Tuesday. I did a lot of work at the beginning of the year around lobbying the university to allow students back onto campus in lots of student groups, societies, and also affects teams as well, especially in specialised spaces, so our performing arts-based societies. And that was really successful. We managed to get them to see the importance of student experience and get them back on campus, which was fantastic. We've also simplified the processes, including society setup, fundraising, and room bookings, which traditionally has been a bit of a pain for societies to have to do. We made it much easier. And as a whole, I've pushed the team and myself to be much more responsive to societies. So whereas in the past it might have taken a few weeks to get a reply, we really, really have to try and make it now so that there's no long waits and every society feels valued within the community, and there's no societies who get faster replies than others, which for me has been a massive bonus this year, really pushing for inclusion for that. And also societies and teams had joint training at the beginning of the year, which anyone who went, it was really, really great. It was a really comprehensive, great training session, and Maddie and I loved it. So that was really positive, and it was just great to see everyone together. In regards to campaigns, I've supported a number of campaigns this year, most recently contract cheating and nighttime safety. And this week, in case you haven't seen it on social already, is Period Awareness Week, which is one of my favourite campaigns of the year. But we've already had loads of wins from it, including a dispenser put on campus. This is top secret, but being announced on Friday. The university will be funding free period products across the campuses, which is a massive win. We're really, really happy with that. And lots of focus and awareness around trans and non-binary individuals as well, with the university really listening to us. So it's been a really successful week so far. Other things I've been up to, the Reclaim These Streets March, which was an excellent event. Really had a great time there. Yeah, I got egged. That's a fun one. But yeah, so that was a really, really great night. So anyone's there, thank you for coming. Increased my Midway presence to 1 day a week, so guaranteed at least 1 day a week to be up in Midway. And the SABs have also jointly had more of a presence. I know Frank's been up with me a lot as well. But making sure that we're doing any campaigns we're doing here, we want to reflect up in Midway and not just go because we have to have a purpose up there, which is a big thing that we're focusing on moving forward. We've also now got a new contract with Greenwich and Kent up at Midway, which we didn't have up until this year. The contract is really, really great for Christchurch students, and hopefully means there'll be more access to services, events, societies up there. So hopefully it's a really, really positive impact for the Greenwich community, the Midway community. And I'm working a lot closer with the two Midway SABs there as well, who are leading. I'm also sitting on a lot more boards at Midway as well, so having a lot more of a voice there and much more of an impact there. So I think I'm now 5 or 6 boards I sit on. Good fun. So yeah, lots more hopefully happening in Midway moving forward and in the new year. Freshers Evening events was basically fully the SU's responsibility this year. So we really helped the lounge with those. Got lots of events up and running, which was really positive for us. And I've also been really heavily involved in the Connect programme, which was a block of funding given to the university to help with student engagement. So you might have seen things like dog walking, cake events, things like that. That is explicitly for Canterbury because it's from a Canterbury council, that funding. But we've been heavily involved with that, and we ran cinema nights. We've got a few more events in the pipeline as well, so that's really exciting. And the one thing that I wanted to highlight as well is that it's November and the SAB team haven't fallen out. We made a joke about this recently, but actually, typically by this time of year, the SABs are wanting to kill each other. And it's just been really positive to see the 4 SABs working so closely. And all the things I've just listed off, I've had support from these guys from. So just wanted to highlight that. It sounds like a joke, but it is a really, really positive thing for us as a team. But yeah, always welcome any questions. I don't know if you want to ask me questions now or ask the rest of us together. It's up to you. It's fake.
You still have a couple of hours left to go.
Yeah, true.
Beth, I had a question for you. It was in regards to the cargo project we worked on last year. I know Kent had decided to go with a different supplier to do another project, and I saw them doing some mysterious work there. I was wondering if you knew anything that was going on there at all.
I don't. I still want a nightclub at the Midway campus. No, I don't. But absolutely, Ben, that's something I can look into and find out what's going on. I have my secret sources at Kent, so I'll find out for you and I'll let you know, or I'll try and find out at least.
I knew you would. Is that a Frankie I see next to you?
Yeah. Do you want me to do my updates?
Go on.
Fine. So at the beginning of the year, I started off hosting, with the union, we hosted some coffee mornings at the lounge for our networks. And then I moved on working with the county council and the police, doing neighbourhood days. So we knocked around all the students' doors, giving them leaflets on how they can stay safe in Canterbury. We also went to residential areas where, you're not your normal, everyone, general people live, to show them how they can report students just in case that is needed. So we went around the student areas, and then if you have someone who's there that's not a student, we'll tell them how and what's the best way to report, antisocial behaviour, because that seems to be a difficult one with the police and council at the moment. Then I had my nighttime safety campaign, which is an ongoing campaign I've been working on. Beth and I went around with the street marshals on a Wednesday night, around 11 o'clock till 1 o'clock in the morning, them showing us how they look after the students and make sure they get home safe, and if there's any support they need during the evening. From this, I had my win, which was a den, which is located at the student union next door, with loads of yellow pillows and yellow curtains, because yellow is my favourite colour, just to let you know, with books and colouring books, pencils, and just general space for people to go to if they need time away or just some wellbeing support. And also, if you want to come along, my big bear Bernard is in there, so I didn't know where to put him, so he's in the den. I also worked with the wellbeing team to set up, to relaunch Tuesday Chill, which has been great. It's been successful every week, lots of people, free toes, ping pong, games and stuff, so that's been really good. We recently had a trans and non-binary Q&A, which I think went really well, and we're going to take all the points from that away and just generally work on all those points. I've been challenging the university on accessibility on campus, especially around the accessible toilets. I've been working a lot on Verena homes, but yesterday I went round to every single toilet and checked every accessible toilet to see if they're okay. So I'll be updating with them on that at some point. Then I've also been working on accessible communities. So I've been messaging restaurants, pubs, coffee shops, anywhere people can go to eat and drink, seeing if they're accessible. And then once I found them all out, I'll put them on a table and post them out. So then students have an easy way to know where they can go that's accessible for them. Next week, I am working on a housing campaign, just a general way of how I can help students on looking for good housing and not having to rush for looking for a house, because they need to know, their rights, how they find a guarantor and stuff like that generally. I've had the launch of my CDI committee. They're all fantastic. I've got some of them actually in here today. And so I joined the Wellbeing Committee and the EDL Committee and created my CDI committee. We had our first meeting last month, which was great. We all spoke about what we want to do for the year ahead. We've got another one coming up soon. And yeah, I think we've got some good plans for the year ahead for our committee. Beginning of this year, we took some period products to the Afghan refugees at the hotel. And we also attended the refugee walk with Amal. Sorry, it's a lot. So then I've been working with Anna, our Midway coordinator. Next week, we're hosting a winter wellness event. where the Midway students can come along and make hot chocolate and just some well-being support. We've got in contact with Margie, the practitioner in Midway. I've been in contact with them to see how we can work better, but also they'll be coming along to the Winter Wellness event. I've also been working along with Nightline and how we can advertise it a bit more, because it's very much at Kent University, and we're trying to work on how we can bring it down to Christchurch and how we can get Christchurch students volunteering. And we also had Nightline Week 2 weeks ago, where we had the owls on campus. And then lastly, I've been, same as Maddie, I've been dealing with a lot of students firsthand with their mental health. So I've just been, making sure I signpost them wherever I need to, helped with Thursday, Cool Down Thursday. And I've also got a Facebook page for wellbeing officers, or who anyone's got a interest in wellbeing, to support them. Putting any wellbeing support on there and just general ways I can help them. And that's it. Anyone got any questions?
Olivia.
Hello. This isn't so much a question, but I didn't want to interrupt Beth earlier. But I just want to say to both Beth and Frankie, I think you guys have done such an incredible job for the last 3 months. And I just say that kind of from personal experience of being, I'm president of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm on the newly established OT Society, and I'm also on the CDI Executive Committee. And honestly, the amount of support that the societies have felt, and I know this from speaking to many in socials and nights out to loads of the other sports teams and societies, especially after the last year we had, and particularly for those of us who were running societies last year. You guys have been doing such an incredible job. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I think you're amazing, and all the work you're doing has been just incredible. And keep it up, but also don't burn out, please. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Was there any other comments or questions for Frankie?
One thing I want to tell was the well-being events which were hosting or universities hosting. Most of the people are not able to attend it because of their classes, and I don't know how. Even I tried to attend horse riding classes which was going on a few weeks ago, but I couldn't attend because of my classes in uni. We can't take a break from there and participate in the events. If it is much more, reliable, we could attend it for some day, which it is more adaptable with different days, like weekends. It would be more better, I think, for that the students could attend them without cutting our classes. That's what I think of, because I am very interested in all these kinds of activities. But no, unlikely I can't do that, like because of this.
So I know a lot of the wellbeing events do change weekly, but if you do want to get in contact with me about any time that you want anything scheduled, is your lectures evenings or during the day?
Yeah, that would be great, because most of the events come on Mondays and Wednesdays, and that days we have uni classes as well. And we go on these two weeks. So we can attend. Most of my class friends always tell me the same that we are interested but can't attend because of the classes. That's what I just told you. But the events you are putting was very nice. I was very interested on this. It's amazing. Anyway, I will try. Yeah.
I'll see what I can do and work with the wellbeing team to try and sort out some more wellbeing events that suit more students.
Yes. Thank you.
Esther, I noticed your hand was up. You put it back down. Did you want to speak?
No, I mean, I want to say the same thing as what Anusha has put forward.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, I wanted to take part in the dog walking because dogs, but because of the clash with classes, I couldn't attend. And yeah, I pretty much what Anusha has put forward.
I get it. And Maddie.
Thank you. I don't know if I heard you right there, but I think you said equestrian that you were interested in joining. I completely take on all your feedback. The only issue is with Bucks, which is like the people that run all of the university sport across the country, they choose Wednesdays. So it's nothing that I can do to change the fixtures and the training that they have on the Wednesday afternoons, which is a bit of a problem for some students, I know, but that's a whole university issue. Like every university has the same day as us for that Wednesday afternoon. But any other activity other than the Buck stuff, I'm happy to take on board and try and I can speak to Paul Carney, head of Christchurch Sport, around the dog walking. So I'm sure they'll be able to sort out another day for that.
Ice skating was another event which I was interested to attend, but I couldn't attend because of this one. And wildlife walk, and something like that was also there in that event. And all these things comes on Monday and Wednesday, and both that days uni is there. So we can just, I always go through this, but can't attend anyone.
Yeah, okay, take the feedback on board. Sorry about that.
Oh, thank you so much, dear.
Esther.
Yeah, sorry. Maddie, you said something about the days being fixed. Is there a possibility or a way where we can attend the events that are being put forward without it affecting our classes? As in, even if I do choose, for example, I think the dog walking was on Wednesdays, but I can't, miss my class and then attend that because then it affects the visa and things like that. So is there a possibility where, if you put in a form or something saying that, we're officially going for this, could you please consider our attendance for that one particular day? Do you think that is a possibility? That makes sense?
That was a great question because most of the international students, including me, face the same attendance problem. Even if we wish to cut a class, we have to answer the other ones. Why we do like that? So it is very important for us to attend the class, even if we wish to or not to. That's a problem regarding all these things. That's why I've told you guys in this event now.
Did you want to reply to that, Maddie?
Yeah, I think, sorry for the confusion there. I was just talking about the Bucks sport, which is the league sport, which is a fixed day on a Wednesday. Everything else that can be changed around. And I know Beth has meetings with the Connect project, and she can bring different days and different suggestions up in that meeting. I know Dan is also doing a lot of work with the university around actually freeing Wednesday afternoon lectures. But I know that's only for certain courses at the moment. But yeah, sorry, just to clarify, that Bucks fixed day on a Wednesday is just for the league sport. And it's a universal thing across the country. So it's a bit tricky to change that. But everything else, I'm sure that Beth can bring up in the meetings in the Connect project and try and get some different days, maybe over the weekend and bits like that.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Was there any other questions or comments to be made on that? If not, I think we can move over to Dan with his update.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. I'll be as quick as I can because I'm conscious we've got about 7 items on the agenda. We've got half an hour to discuss them, and obviously that should take priority. So I'll try and be as quick as possible. A few bits from me. From student feedback, I worked with students in the university to ensure that the uni kept the promise of at least 80% face-to-face teaching. A lot of courses didn't follow this, and I had to make sure that the uni followed up on their promise. But please let me know if you have any feedback about that or any more issues. I worked with Gradforce on their Get Hired event. Gradforce is a OFS funded project for employability in Kent and Midway. So that went really well. Events that we have organised at the SU or supported and us SABs have been at was the International Day of Action Against Contract Cheating, where students could pledge to stand against essay mills and plagiarism, as well as National Hate Crime Awareness Week and Climate Action Day, which was really good. And we've also been working with Peter Rands, who's the Director of Sustainability Development, to see how us SABs, the SU, can work with the university on climate action response. We're currently consulting with students as to what they want to see the uni doing and what us doing with events, etc. about that. As being mentioned, continuing with the other SABs to head down to Midway, doing the breakfast down there, engaging with lots of students, We're heading there on Friday for an academic success event about plagiarism as well. I'm continuing to work with the university on Mozzie and their new student record system, which some of you might have heard about last year if you're on Union Council with Becky, and making sure students are the focus for that decision making. Recently been in Sheffield for an NUS conference. Excellent sessions there down there on COVID recovery, emergent strategies, strategic campaigning, and as Frankie mentioned, a lot of campus walks with the SABs, ensuring the campus is fit for purpose, accessibility, and we're working with the university to make the Canterbury campus as fit as it can be for students, including more study spaces. We want to get sport on campus, and of course, the student union back on campus. I've been working with PGRA for a network event tomorrow that they're hosting, a little Christmas get together. And I'm working closely with the university on responding to NSS survey outcomes from last year and looking ahead to the survey in January. Had my first SAR committee last week, which went really well. And as Beth mentioned, you know, we're all working closely together on our big five. We're making sure we know what each other is up to date with all the time, really checking in on each other. And yeah, really good SAB dynamic. And it's really helping us all really achieve what we want to achieve this year. And yeah, really, really positive. So thank you. Happy to take any questions, but also happy to take them offline as well, as we are pushed for time. But thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Did anyone have any questions burning? No? Okay, I'd like to move straight on then to item 5 on the agenda, which is the practice learning unit. So we haven't got a name attached to this one. Chris, did you want to quickly jump in? Chris, you've got your hand up. Fantastic. Temi, welcome. So Temi wanted to call up for the Black Students Officer. Would you like to have a few minutes to discuss why you'd like to be in the role and what you hope to achieve for the year?
Hello?
Hello, Temi. We can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. I wanted to go for the Black Student Officer role because I have I have a lot of passion for making sure the experience for like the Black students of CCU to be the best it can be. I'm sure that you guys are aware of like the discussions about like Black students in higher education and the difficulties and with the student population, as well as the aspect of how do I explain? Sorry. How in a sense that the Black student group can be kind of withdrawn when it comes to engaging with university and societies, and probably one of my goals would be to engage the group more and offer meaningful engagement in more societies, and to see whether there's a gap or where it comes from. That is one of my goals. Yeah.
Fantastic, Terry. I agree with you. It's highly important to make sure that everyone has accessibility to higher education, that everyone is afforded the same opportunities as each other, regardless of race, gender, or other kind of orientation. So we'll have a quick old vote with everyone. Is everyone happy for Temi to be co-opted into the role? I'm seeing smiles, I'm seeing thumbs up. Is there anyone who disagrees? I see that as unanimous. Temi, welcome to the role.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. And with that, I'm going to go straight on to the practice learning unit. Now, this one hadn't had a name attached to it, so I'm just going to read it as it comes up as. So if I start, the several students have suggested that the practice learning unit is not fit for purpose, being inaccurate with the information provided and being difficult to engage with by both students and lecturers. Some students have also shared experiences of turning up to placement unexpectedly by the placement provider. Can the SU look into the appropriateness of the PLU, seek alternative methods of establishing clinical placements, or ways PLU's communication and effectiveness can be kindly improved upon? So did anyone have any comments or questions in regards to this? Because I know this is very specific to every course that goes on placement. Olivia.
Hello. Yes, I have lots of thoughts about this, as well, Fumi, and everybody on here who's been on placement. So once again, with OT, we go on placement. We only go on placement once a year. It's usually for a period between 7 to 12 weeks, but I know nursing students are on placement for majority of their placement. But with our placements, what we found is every year for the last 2 years, there have been issues. And I feel like some of the issues have stemmed from it being course specific. So I don't know how the PLU works in terms of the different courses. So I don't know if the PLU it's a different PLU, like different people who organize our placements versus the nursing placements, for example, or if they organize all placements the same. But we have had continuous issues with things like we are told to contact people on placement. So we are meant to get told our placement at least 2 weeks before. That hasn't happened for the last 2 years. We are then told to contact our placement educators ourselves, and several of our peers in our tutor groups have been found that when they've contacted them, they've been given the wrong information, or the educators have not been aware that they have a student coming. Or they've just been given an appropriate placement. And some of this ties into LSPs. And a lot of students who have LSPs or travel needs have just simply not been listened to. So for example, with placements, like I said before, we can be put up to an hour and a half away, but for some people it's physically not possible for them to travel. So they've requested, certain provisions. They've been told by their tutors those provisions would be put in place, and then that's been ignored. And unfortunately, with placement, it's if we don't go, if we refuse our placement, we may not get another one, or we don't have the choice of refusing. So yeah, I fully agree, and I could talk about this all day, but I won't. But I know people on our course especially have very strong feelings about the PLU. So I definitely feel like it's something that should be looked into.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing some of those issues that have come through. There seems to be quite a lot going on there, and definitely something we could talk quite a long amount of time about. Hannah, did you have some additionals?
Yeah, again, I fully agree. I could probably talk on behalf of most of the cohort when I say this needs to be looked into. We're told as nursing students that we would find out our placements about at least 6 to 8 weeks in advance. I'm finding out on a Friday and starting the Monday. And this is really affecting those, especially who have childcare, because they then can't book to get childcare because they don't know when they're going to be on placement. They don't know their shifts because they don't know where they are. And I know a lot of students have complained in the sense that they've mentioned that they've got childcare and what are they going to do, and it has just been said to them literally to deal with it. There's nothing they can do about it, and we just have to wait and hope, and it will come. I've also had placements where I've called them and they've actually said to me, I didn't know you were coming, I'm sorry, you speak to the uni. I've been late to placements. I've had a few placements now, my last one as well, where I missed about 2 weeks of it because I still hadn't been given a placement. And I just think the communication between PLU and the students is horrendous, personally. And I've had a recent email from one of the PLU staff, which I didn't think was very nice. I mentioned that it's very dark at the moment, and especially, it's not really safe outside, especially when you're on your own, and I don't drive. And I mentioned this and said that I'm a bit scared to walk in the dark. especially at these, it's winter hours now. So because I'm not getting my travel money back. So basically, can I be put close? And I need my travel back. And I got quite a rude response about it from PLU that basically said to me, if I'm not committed to walk in the dark, and if I'm not committed to walk in the dark and I don't have the sufficient funds, then there's little point then finding me a placement. So there's no point me carrying on the course. So yeah, they can be. I think this needs looking into personally as well.
I'm really sorry you've had that negative experience. I'd like to think that's a one-off and not a continuation, but definitely something I feel needs to be seriously looked at in regards to how they're communicating with students and the timely manner of which they do so. So I've just got a message there from Alice there. So friends at other universities have set hospitals that they work with. Is this another way to make this possible here at the CCCU? There's definitely alternative pathways and things that can be looked at. I think that's going to be part of a wider image in regards to what PLU looks like in the future in regards to placement. So from what I'm hearing, there's kind of a unanimous agreement here that this situation needs to be looked at. So I'm not going to put this to a vote. Would one of the SABs like to take on this work?
Yeah, that's my area. So what I can do is, thank you both for talking about that. In terms of the PLU, what I'll do is I'll get in contact with the Dean of the faculty, Paola. She's new. She's just joined, which I think could be a positive thing in terms of, she's obviously going to come in and she's got fresh ideas. She's new. So I'll be in contact with her. Chris has taken notes, so what I'll do is I'll go back through the notes of all of the issues and bring them all to her and have a discussion with her, and I can feedback what the outcomes of that are, but we'll keep pushing her to sort this out.
Fantastic. That sounds really positive moving forward. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that now. The next one is a Padlet idea, which was about a shuttle bus between Midway and Canterbury. As I'm aware, this idea has come up in a few years previously, and Beth has just put her hand up, so I assume you're about to come in with this.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this is left from before, if this is a new one again. I know it was raised at Union Council before my time, so literally, 2 years ago? But we've actually got an email about this today, pushed by the Hub, which is Greenwich and Kent Unions and Christ Union joint venture. And it's actually being looked into yet again, which is really good to hear coming from their end. So they've got Sue Plummer taking the lead in it from the Christchurch end. But I'm sure when I go to Midway on Friday and next week for my Midway meetings, I'll speak to Sue and find out what's going on there and feedback. It's probably the best way, because I don't think it's something we can really vote on, but I'm already happy to look into it and see if it's plausible and possible. But yeah, I don't know if that helps. So I'm conscious of time as well, but I don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, it sounds like we're doing work already onto it, so just feedback into the council, I think. Anastasia, did you have something to add? Sorry, Anastasia, you're not producing any sound. Okay. Just wait a moment for Anastasia to get her words down. So Anastasia has said, just to add to whatever we look into regarding the shuttle buses, to ensure that they are fully accessible to students. Absolutely agree with that. Beth, you had a comment to add?
Just on that as well, and it's something just for generally what we're doing is whenever any of us look into something, Frankie tends to come along and make sure from an inclusion aspect it is fully inclusive. So this goes across to venues, campaigns, things like the period awareness dispenser. So it is something we try and actively include in every campaign to make sure it's fully accessible for not just wheelchair users but other needs as well. So just to make you aware that it's something we try and do, but please ever do challenge us anytime you think it isn't, because we want to know.
Fantastic. They love to be challenged on everything. Never be afraid to ask questions. Okay, so I'm going to move the next one on, which is encouraging disability support. This was produced by James Hughes, which I'm not sure James is with us today. So let's just pull up some points he's brought up on the Padlet idea. So I'm just going to read it as it's stated. So as a few of us have discussed in our previous meetings, some students have struggled with getting learning support plans in place, delayed response times and issues with their plans being implemented effectively and efficiently. It would be nice to open up a discussion on this topic. So Alice, would you like to jump in and start us off?
Hello. I've got a meeting coming up, I think on the 10th, around that time, just to talk to the disability team about the processes that they've got in place and to see if there's any wiggle room of how we can make them potentially more streamlined, as we know things at university sometimes aren't as streamlined as they could be. And I have a fairly good working relationship with the team from previous years. So I feel like this is something that can definitely be done. It's one of my clear aims for this year.
Fantastic. It sounds like something you could work with Frankie on, get some feedback on and feedback to the council. I can definitely add, I've had some students speaking to me specifically about some of their experiences in getting support plans in place and implemented. So it'd be really good to hear further on about that. Hannah, did you want to join in?
Yeah, just a quick thing in relation to that. I've had a student recently come up to me, part of my sports team as I'm social sec, and they are struggling. They haven't been able to get hold of disability team for ages. I mean, emailing, calling, they've got nothing for weeks. So just to mention the communication part of it as well.
Thank you very much. Was there any other comments to be added? Alice.
I'm really sorry, I forgot to add this a second ago. In the meeting that I've got coming up, I am going to see if I can get regular meetings with the team, because then if any student issues come up, I can then tell them like that, and then from that they can make the meetings of the people that they need to see in more depth. I don't know if that helps at all with Hannah's students specifically, but I think if there's any way that I can make the disability team time less difficult, that's not the best way to say that, but I feel like we know what I'm talking about, then I can do that, as well as also making sure that every single student that needs the support, that they get the support that they need. Yeah, I think that's my aim.
Well. Absolutely. Inclusivity is obviously a key aspect there. Right, if there are no further comments on this, I will move on to the next item, which is student integration. I feel a lot of this was addressed with the sabbatical updates. They seem to be doing a lot of work in regards to integrating students into the university in a variety of different ways. Without James here personally, I would struggle to expand upon that. And I don't want to sort of open up a discussion on this and have to rush through it per se. Did anyone have any initial comments that they wanted to make in regards to student integration?
Is this regarding the institutional discrimination by any chance?
No, that's the next point down. 2 points down, rather.
I got a bit confused.
So James put in quite a few ideas from on the Padlet. This one is about some students feel there aren't many opportunities to mix with other departments or get to know people throughout the university. And he suggests that we engage with more things like societies, events at the SU bar and elsewhere on campus. So this is really to do with getting societies back up and running and post-COVID. He also mentions that some of the issues also cover with international students struggling to settle in with their courses as well. I think it's something that seems to be maybe something to go away and think about, discuss about. I think there's a lot of work already been done by the SABs and some fantastic work going on there. So at this moment, I think we can bring this up at another meeting. Unless anyone has any comments or questions that they'd like to ask at this time. Excellent. So I'm just going to move on. The next one is by Alice, which is support for a disability awareness project. Alice, if you'd like to kick us off.
Yeah, so in 3 days' time, very, very short notice, I know, there is the International Day of Disabilities, Day of Persons with Disabilities, sorry, I have to get the words right on that one. And I just wanted to get some help from either the SABs or fellow council members to kind of, not a big event, but just something to mark the day and have people together to chat about life. Yeah.
Beth.
Hiya. So this is something we did last year and it was a really good event. We especially highlighted hidden disabilities. I'm kind of pushing Frankie here a little bit, but I'd like to get involved. I think it'd be good for me and Frankie to get involved with that. No, definitely. I'd love to get involved.
Excellent. And Max?
Yeah. Alice, if you want a hand, I'm more than happy to, especially talk about autism, because I'm autistic and I've been talking about autism for bloody years, and I'm part of the National Autistic Society. I'm one of their young ambassadors, so if you ever want to use that, I'm more than happy to help and stuff.
Thank you. I think it's just to kind of get the idea out there that there is a day coming up that's very soon, so slightly scary that it's that soon, but I feel like if I've got more than just my head working on it, it can be done. Uni's hard. There's not much time.
There never is. But no, I look forward to hearing more about it. Right, so moving on. The next option is Anastasia has also said that she is happy to help. She says maybe all societies and supports can support on their social media platforms as well. And I see a thumbs up that is slowly walking away from Raoul, so I think that's fantastic news. Right then, moving on to the next one is institutional inequality and discrimination. So this is another one that was done on Padlet, and I'm going to read it from there. So I will read it as fast as this. We all spoke about the fact that some of the council seats have not been fulfilled. I have emailed the course directors around the facility to see if they could let their students know about current vacancies, and would like to have a discussion around this. As Chris has mentioned, there are some issues that need addressing with institutional inequality, and I believe it's important to get these seats filled to ensure a greater student voice. So I think today we have already partially started to address this by co-opting some of the empty seats, and I know the SABs are going to work hard to try to fill up all the rest of the seats to make sure that we are fully representative of everyone in Christchurch. Is there any additional comments or questions or statements that people would like to make in regards to this? I'm going to take the silence as okay. And last but not least is Max with the Students' Communication Survey. Max, if you'd like to join in and kick us off, please.
Yeah, so one thing, because I am a part of the Student Green Office in the university, one thing that I and all the other students there have found is it's really hard to actually, advertise is the wrong word, but get the message out, at least from a university standpoint, because either there are too many platforms for communication, because every few weeks I find another one which I never knew about, and and I think it would be quite useful both to the SU and the university if there is like a survey of as many students as possible to find out where the majority of them actually get their information about events and campaigns happening both on campus and in the local area, so then we can target it a bit better, so then there will be more response from the student community.
Thank you, Max. Hannah. Was that a legacy hand, Hannah?
Can you hear me? Sorry, I keep forgetting to put my mute back on.
Easily done.
Yeah. No, I was saying that what I was about to say is in regards to the last point. So if you wanted to come back to me, that's absolutely fine. The last point on the agenda.
Okay, we'll go back to that in a moment. So in regards to Max's work regarding communication, I believe the SU was asked to do some work in regards to this last year. Off the top of my head, I'm wondering if someone could help me clarify in regards to that. And the same sort of points did come up during then as well, that there were a lot of channels of communication and it was difficult to know which one was the key one to be paying attention to. If any of the Sabs want to jump in on this one.
No. Okay. I wasn't here last year, so I'm not quite sure. We have just had a comms review, and we are. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It would be good to know where the majority of students are finding that information, and everything that we put on, we want people to see and come to. So obviously we want to do everything we can and work with students to find out how we can clearly get our comms across, because it's important. Yeah, I'll pass over to Beth before I say anything.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so in the last, obviously 2 years, but especially last year, we were doing pretty much fully online engagement last year because there just wasn't no in person, and trying to reach out to students that way. And I think a lot of it has carried over, but also I think that people are switching off to a lot of comms. Like I know I do. If I get an email half the time, not as my job, just to be clear, as a student, I would be like, no, don't want to look at that. So what we are trying to do is increase our presence on Uni on Tour and communicating to the students who don't necessarily reach. I think it's really, really important to highlight that, because yes, we have our engagement body, and we have all you lovely people who've obviously seen these positions and run for these positions, but going out there and trying to hear students who wouldn't necessarily engage, especially a lot of students, Ben, I know you don't know this firsthand, Midway is particularly a point where we want to focus on trying to get more student voice and more communications out there. But also, I think we need to remember that a lot of our student base, our average age is something like 28, 27 at the university. I mean, that's even higher when you look at just Midway. So whereas I love a bit of Instagram and TikTok, that may not work for all students. So I think it's really important that we do some sort of survey to find out what, and then we've got to get a survey out, that's also a problem, but to find out where is the best way to engage. I know part of the comms review, that's what we're talking about at the union already. But yeah, I don't know, Dan or Frank, if you have anything else to add? No. Hope that helps. So that was a bit of waffle.
Very helpful. Does that help answer that question there, Max?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. So maybe it's just a case of feeding back at the next meeting the sort of actions that come from the comm review, and then we can work forward from there. Right, so we've got to the end of the agenda. Yay. So any other business at all? So I already mentioned in regards to university having a bit more clarification on Boris's latest announcements on a mandatory face mask wearing, and how that's going to affect, if it does, the university campus as a whole. Was there any other business that people wanted to raise at this time? Everyone is quiet, which means they're all happy and content. Yep, we'll make sure that the minutes are all sent out to everyone by email. Excellent. So thank you everyone for coming. If anything does come up in the meanwhile, feel free to email myself at the chair or anyone else in the SAB team. They'd love to hear from you, particularly Beth, who can't wait to say some more.
Yeah, I really want challenge. No, I was just about to say thank you so much, Chair, and Ben. That's really great chairing, and somehow you got us back on time. So thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how you did it. So thanks.
Magic. Look, I finished exactly on time.